Welcome to the new video. Here in this particular video, I came up with a new interview experience as well as questions and answers also. Okay, and this video definitely helpful for many professionals and those who are looking for a job change. Okay, so for real time questions and how to answer also, I will share some pointers from my end also. Okay, so this was the interview for 2 years of experience into DevOps. Okay, so it was for a MNC company, and yeah, without further ado, let's move and discuss one by one. The first question was, tell me about yourself, your current project and your day-to-day activities. You can answer in such a way like I will just give you a brief. Okay, so accordingly based upon my response you can utilize that, or else you can convert it according to your current activities and your experiences. Okay, so I am currently working as a DevOps cum DevSecOps engineer. um, I was in a project where we need to automate the software development and deployment workflows by using CI/CD pipelines. My primarily responsibilities include setting up and managing the CI/CD pipelines using Jenkins and writing the automation scripts and maintaining the cloud infrastructure, as we are using primarily as a AWS. And we need to ensure the security best practices are followed in this entire process. My daily activities include monitoring the build pipelines, uh, and also we need to troubleshoot the deployment issues, and we need to optimize the infrastructure provisioning for scalability and reusability. And also we need to collaborate with the cross-functional team like a development team and operations team to improve the efficiency of the entire productivity. So in this way you can answer. So moving to the next question, uh, what is Jenkins? Basically, Jenkins is a open source automation tool, automation server, we can say. Okay, Jenkins is a server, it's not a tool, and that will helps to automate the software development process, and also software deployment process, we can say. Okay, it's not software development, it is deployment. That will includes the building of the code and testing the code and deploying that into a Kubernetes, or maintaining the Docker container. Okay, each and everything we can maintain from the Jenkins only. Okay, and it supports a kind of large plugins, and it will highly available and helpful for implementing the CI/CD pipelines. Okay, and also it will helps to interact and coordinate with the cross-functional teams. Also, let's say if a developer need to have a access for uh, building the pipeline. Okay, that means initiating the any of the stages we have implemented in pipeline. So that also will be helpful through the Jenkins only. Okay, and the next question was, what is in Jenkins, what is master slave architecture? Basically, Jenkins works on the master slave architecture. The question was, can you explain the master slave architecture within the Jenkins? Um, Basically, it will helps to distribute the workloads efficiently. The master node is primarily responsible for scheduling the jobs, and that will monitor the slave jobs. We can say nodes also. Okay, and I mean, how that will make sure to assign the jobs and monitor the slaves, that means nodes. It will basically with the help of configurations, and slave node we can also call it as agent, okay, that will execute the actual job, and whatever the job is assigned by the master. And this architecture improves the performance, and that will ensure parallel executions for multiple jobs. That, I mean, this is how we can say the scalability will be achieved through with the help of a pipeline. Okay, and the time complexity also maintained. And moving to the next question, how do you set up a CI/CD pipeline in your project? Basically, it's kind of a practical approach question. Like, what exactly the stages have you included, and how you implemented the pipeline? Okay, so basically, to set up a Jenkins pipeline, I have took some steps. Like, we need to install a Jenkins, and with required plugins like Git, Maven, Docker, Kubernetes, any third-party tools if we required. And we need to create a Jenkins pipeline by using a declarative syntax script. Mm, and also we can use the um, freestyle also if needed. Okay, so declarative, with the help of syntax we can manage the pipeline for the steps. Okay, here if we talk about the stages, that includes um, I mean, the code will be triggered with the help of Policium. Sorry, the build will be triggered with the help of Policium or cron syntax or GitHub webhook, and it will, and also we can schedule the jobs also, okay, with the help of cron syntax. Okay, and that is basically I mean, triggering the build, I mean, pipeline. And then we have a stages like git clone, later on scans like secret scan, and then sashed scan, and then we need to build the artifacts, and then dash scan, and then like image scans also will be done. And also we do have a Docker as well as Kubernetes in the same pipeline. Okay, and moving to the next question, yeah, moving to the next question, how do you build your application? Basically, the building process of application depends on the technology. I mean, technology stack which is used in the code base. Let's say if Java-based project, we can use Maven or Gradle, and that will basically involves the fetching of source code from a source code repository. Let's say Git, and then we need to compile the code, and then we need to run the unit test cases, and then we need to generate a artifacts, that is a jar file or war file or some binary files, and then we can store those in any of the artifact repository. And then once it was done, we used to build a Docker image, and then we are going to push that Docker image into a registry, Docker Hub, or any other cloud registry like AWS ECR, Elastic Cloud Registry. And moving to the next question, where do you store your artifacts and dependencies in Jenkins? Basically, artifacts and dependencies are stored in a repository managers like JFrog artifact repository, Nexus artifact repository, AWS S3 also we can use. Basically, these repositories will help to manage the versions, and that will ensure a security also, and efficient way to retrieve builds and dependencies whenever it is required. And the next question was, how many database related scripts, sorry, how many database related scripts can you write in PowerShell? One moment. I think the question is clarity missing. Okay, got it. It is basically like a database related scripts in PowerShell. Like by using PowerShell, like how many databases we can use. Okay, so we can use in the sense, let's say if we have a MS SQL, by using PowerShell, we can able to communicate with MS SQL database, right? So that is basically a question. Yeah, PowerShell can be used to write a various database related scripts that include sorry SQL Server, MS SQL, PostgreSQL, and we can run the queries like select, insert, update, delete. Okay, by that will basically make sure to exporting and importing the data, performance backups and restores, and I mean we can also perform the backups and restores, and we can also automate the database maintenance tasks with the help of PowerShell only. Okay, and the next question was, if sorry, if you need to save your SSH credentials in Jenkins, how would you do that? Basically, we need to follow some secure practices. Um we need to go to the Jenkins dashboard, and we need to go to the manage Jenkins. There is a dedicated option called managing credentials. There you need to create a new credentials, and then we need to select the I mean there is a different types actually. SSH username with a private key we need to select, and then we need to enter the ID and username and the private key. Basically this ID will be used like wherever that key useful. Let's say if you are using that in any of the stages in the same pipeline, so that ID will be used. Okay, and based on that ID, that we are able to access the server. Okay, whatever the SSH server is there. Um, I mean SSH credential server is that we can access. Okay, and moving to the next question, name some useful Jenkins plugins. Basically, we do have a multiple plugins within the Jenkins, like more than 100 plus plugins is supported by Jenkins. We have a plugins like Gate, Pipeline plugin also there, Blue Ocean, Kubernetes, Docker, Artifact, Sonar Cube is there, Trivi, Snake, Waps, Fortify, Checkmarks, like different plugins available compatibility. Okay, and moving to the next question, how sorry, how do you give instructions to an agent node in Jenkins? Basically, it is a kind of a follow-up question. As if you see earlier, there is a question regarding the master-slave architecture in Jenkins. Okay, it is kind of follow-up question to that. Like, how exactly you will give a instructions to an worker node. Um in Jenkins, how it will works. Basically, agent nodes in Jenkins executes the exact job, like based on the labels we are giving in the pipeline. That will, let's say, if you wanted to instruct the agent, you can specify it in the pipeline script itself. Whenever we are writing a pipeline script, the basic syntax will be like pipeline, and then we need to start a bracket, and then we need to specify the agent. Okay, let's say if we give agent any, then it will take existing, I mean without any specific worker node. Okay, any available agent. So without configuring the agent also, if you are working on your pipeline without configuring the agent, in that case you can choose agent any. If you are you wanted to dedicatedly run that particular job to the by that particular agent only, then you need to specify agent, and then in the bracket you need to specify the agent name in the label. Okay, agent in the bracket label. In that in the single quotation you need to give the agent name. Okay, and then as usual flow like stages, a stage build, let's say if it is build stage, and then script you need to write whatever the like script, I mean command you will write that will be executed in that particular targeted agent. Okay, and alternatively for freestyle jobs, you can assign a specific label under like restrict where this project can be run in that particular job configurations options itself. Okay, so there are two possible approaches. Whatever it is required, you can choose. And moving to the next, how you run 400 jobs, sorry, run 400 Jenkins jobs concurrently out of 1,000 jobs. Basically, we need to run 400 jobs concurrently. For that, we need to follow some best practices. First of all, we need to increase the number of executor slots in Jenkins master and agent nodes. There is a, if you go in manage Jenkins, there is a option for uh, I mean slots, executor slots, number of executor slots. Okay, we need to increase that, and then we need to distribute the, I mean by, the workload by adding more nodes. Okay, more worker nodes or agents nodes we can say. And then we can also use a Docker or Kubernetes, I mean Docker Swarm. Okay, or else Kubernetes for scaling it dynamically. And we can also utilize the parallel scan execution within the pipeline to optimize the performance and the time complexity. Okay, this is how we can achieve the like 400 jobs execution out of 1,000 jobs. Okay, and moving to the next question, I think we are almost getting towards end. Yeah, yeah, moving to the next question. The question is, uh, what is Git init, and why do we use the Git init command? Basically, Git init command initializes a new Git repository within that working directory. It creates a .git folder that tracks the changes and enables a version control of that particular project. And that is basically a local. Okay, and this is the first step uh, when you are setting up a new repository. The command was git space init, git init. And the next question was, what is the difference between git pull and git fetch? Basically, git fetch you will use when you want to review the code changes before merging. In that case, you need to use git fetch. And git pull when you wanted to automate the update. Okay, so let's say if you wanted to automatically update the source code, uh, whatever the code you have developed in your local to a git repository, then you can uh, use a git pull. And the last question was, what does git clone? I mean, don't get confused between the git pull and git fetch. Basically, git fetch, we will use a git fetch whenever, if we wanted to review the changes before merging, and git pull when you wanted to automatic update, when you want an automatic update. Okay, let's say I mean there is a small very thin line difference actually. Okay, git pull basically it will directly pulls the source code from the central repository github. Okay, so git fetch is basically it will get the changes only, like what exactly the existing project and what exactly the, let's say if you use pull command, after that what it will come, like that it will show. Okay, and the next question was, what does git clone do? Basically a git clone command creates a copy of a remote repository into your local machine. It will basically downloads the complete repository that includes the branches and history. Okay, so git clone command includes git space clone space URL, basically like https github.com, let's say example repo, uh, like example will be the example username, sorry. After that slash repository name dot git is mandatory. Okay. Okay, yeah, basically uh, git clone command, let's say if you wanted to start a project, so you wanted to clone that particular project, right? First of all, so this is commonly used to start the working of an existing project from a remote source, that is GitHub. Okay, and yeah, these are the questions which was asked in the interview, and it is a first round of discussion. Okay, so yeah, I think you got certain questions, and definitely I will come up with a new video with some more topics as well as some more experiences. Okay, so till then, stay tuned for more videos. Thank you for watching.